Good morning. My name is Peter Ruzicka, and I'm a prospective principal, and today I'd like to share with you my instructional leader philosophy. Here's a quick overview of what I'll be covering, and I'd like to begin to talk about my vision and my beliefs as a principal. As a school principal, I'm dedicated to creating a rich learning and working environment where students are motivated, teachers are constantly improving, and all believe they can succeed. Now you may ask, how does a principal do this? Well, I believe a principal can create this vision by following four central beliefs of creating a culture of optimism, motivating students, supporting teacher growth, and maintaining an open school climate. Above all else, these beliefs support my number one goal, as well as the number one goal of all of education, to maximize student learning and achievement. Beginning with a culture of optimism, as a principal, we must create this culture that believes all students can succeed. This begins with collective efficacy, that the faculty believe they can make a difference. Faculty trust in students and parents that they can help improve learning. And a focus on academics and success, because once again, that's why we're here. My belief in creating a culture of optimism rests in the fact that it positively impacts student achievement. Now, we've all heard teachers say, "I couldn't measure up, so I stopped." This is inexcusable because teacher efficacy is one of the few characteristics that is correlated with student achievement. Furthermore, when teachers believe they can make a difference, students work harder, and these beliefs are resistant to change. To create this culture of optimism, I've designed a principal game plan. First, I will create programs like Honor Roll and Teacher of the Week to celebrate student and staff successes. More importantly, I will use newsletters and websites and other media forms to communicate these successes to the community, families, and school at large. As a leader, I also need to model optimism in all of my interactions with students and staff. If I do this, I create a sense of the possible, which is fundamental to student learning and achievement. Now, turning to motivation, we realize that it's the main driver of learning, and it depends on creating a relevant context for student learning, meeting students at their levels, and improving student-teacher relationships. Obviously, the purpose of motivation is to improve learning and engagement. When we give students a relevant context, where we value their backgrounds and their knowledge, they want to learn. When we meet students where they're at, and we show them that we care about improvement, not so much achieving benchmarks, they work harder and they want to improve. And finally, when we create better student-teacher relationships, when adults are really responsive and show that they care, students are intrinsically motivated to achieve. And this is essential to success. The game plan for motivating students begins with encouraging teachers to learn about student context. As a principal, I would invite parents and community members to share their culture with the staff through meetings and culture fairs where even students can share their backgrounds. I also want to provide staff with interest inventories so they can get to know their students and build a curriculum that connects student interests to their learning. I also want to improve student and teacher relationships through an advisory period where they get to know each other and really build a sense of community. I also want to promote personalized learning. The idea that we can work with the director of assessment to find map testing in reading and math and use those scores for teachers to individualize instruction. Be able to give the resources like RTI and literacy and math interventions to teachers so they can meet students where they're at and help them succeed. We also want to make sure that we're measuring teachers' impact by student growth rather than benchmarks. That I celebrate your ability to take a low learner to a moderate level rather than taking a high learner and just keeping them there. Lastly, as principal and a leader, I need to model this by getting to know students and staff and really, like I said, celebrating teachers that excel in these aspects. When we talk about supporting teacher growth, really see that this comes through effective evaluations, differentiated supervision, and professional development. By doing this, we really create a context where teachers can see evaluations as a launching pad for growth rather than accountability. Promoting teacher growth is all about elevating teacher effectiveness and increasing student learning. If we look at effective evaluations, they should really be a launching pad for growth and professional development rather than a gotcha moment. Furthermore, as principals, it's important to see that teachers are at different levels, yet they can all still improve. So the game plan. First of all, I'd use Danielson's framework because it has clear expectations and is very focused on feedback and improvement. I'd consistently communicate with teachers, instructional coaches, and other principals to monitor progress and offer further assistance. As a supervisor and principal, I need to differentiate the supervision. I need to consider teachers' skill sets when evaluating and give feedback appropriate to that level. Also, something that is commonly missed is rewarding excellence. We need to promote distinguished teachers and use their expertise to help others through mentorship programs and instructional coaching. Furthermore, we need to design professional development with expert teachers. They know what teachers need, and a lot of them have the skills to help them. So we really need to look at them as a resource for this. We also need to emphasize professional learning networks, setting teachers up with Twitter accounts to discuss with teachers across the nation, and encourage collegial support. Then, match mentors and mentees based on their strengths and struggles, and implement programs like lesson study where teachers help teachers become better at their craft. Lastly, as a principal, I need to create an open school climate. This open school climate depends on being a supportive principal that respects teachers and is generally concerned for them, and having collegial teachers that support the school, support each other, and respect everybody's work. Creating an open school climate is essential because openness is associated with many great results such as lower dropout rates and higher student satisfaction with schools. To create an open school climate, I must support teachers. As a principal, I need to frequently and publicly praise staff because their efforts need to be recognized by the community at large and the school board. I need to grant more teacher autonomy. Teachers are experts, and I must reduce the number of initiatives and other requirements so they can really focus on their craft. I also need to arrange team building opportunities. This can be professionally in lesson studies and PLC time. This can also be socially to foster relationships between staff by creating luncheons and other activities. Lastly, I need to monitor attitudes and perceptions because I do not always know what is going on in the school. Therefore, I'll use different surveys to identify problems, enlist teachers to diagnose causes, and develop an action plan to improve the climate. In the end, my core beliefs as a principal, creating a culture of optimism, motivating students, supporting teacher growth, and establishing an open school climate are all interrelated. And most importantly, they support my overall vision for principals and schools, and that is creating a rich environment that bolsters teacher effectiveness, maximizes student learning, and really helps students achieve. Thank you for your time. I hope you enjoyed learning about my philosophy. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact me. Have a great day.